Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Build It to Billions podcast, where we believe many entrepreneurs, they want to build their companies to multi-million or multi-billion-dollar companies with the goal and the passion of giving it all away. And we're here to explore ideas and strategies with some of the best in the business to help us do that. And we are a real-life case study where we're in the process of moving from millions to billions, and again, with the hope and the dedication and the focus to give it all away. I'm excited about our guest here, and he's become a friend of mine. He's one of our top strategic alliances, and he's all about empowering American business owners and trying to make taxes fair as possible. And so we're going to be talking with him today. And before we get started, we also want to encourage you as well to check out a couple of other podcasts and YouTube channels. We have Capital Gains Tax Solutions, where you can find all the things about deferring capital gains taxes on highly appreciated assets. We also have Expert CRE Secrets, where we're exploring ways to build wealth in commercial real estate. For those who don't know me, my name is Brett Swartz, and I'm founder of Capital Gains Tax Solutions. I'm also a partner in Snowfox Ventures. And let's spend some time today with our guest, Mr. Tyler Buechler. Tyler, how are we doing?
Doing well. Thanks, Brett.
And for our listeners getting to know you for the first time, would you give us a little bit more about your story and your current focus?
Yeah, absolutely. So good to meet everyone virtually. My name is Tyler Buechler. I am an entrepreneur by spirit. So my background is I grew up in the middle of nowhere on a little family dairy farm in the middle of North Dakota. And while I was in college, I got into business. Entrepreneur bug bit hard. And so I got started actually as an entrepreneur doing building a business, doing credit card processing for business owners. So it was all business to business, doing automated payments, point of sale systems, web development with e-commerce. And then also had a software team built a platform that was a payment platform for IT companies. And so that's where I got my start. I did that for about 18 years, exited those companies and was looking for my next venture. And that was when I befriended my business partner now, Chris Middleton, with our current company, which is maketaxesfair.com.
Absolutely incredible. And by the way, I've spent some good time with Tyler and Chris. They flew out to St. Augustine to meet me at their at the headquarters here, and we had a great time. We've established like a friendship. I love their faith and their intentionality with helping American business owners as well as investors, and figuring out ways. We love to geek out about tax, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today, is empowering American business owners. And by the way, if you want to learn more about Tyler, you can go to maketaxesfair.com right now, maketaxesfair.com. And so, Tyler, what would you say is the number one secret for empowering American business owners when it comes to tax, business, or whatever it is that you feel is the top topic for today?
Yeah. The thing is that it all comes down to knowledge. When we think about taxes, for just about all business owners, for every small, medium, large business owner in America, the real issue is that it's a complex beast, right? The U.S. tax code is nearly 80,000 pages long at this point, between the core tax code itself and all the supplemental material. That's a big bite to chew on. And that's a huge, daunting task to understand that beast and be able to operate it the right way. And so the big thing with American business owners is that it's always this big dark cloud. The U.S. tax code and the IRS are kind of this untouchable entity that's just floating over them, and they feel like they don't have any control. I felt the same way in all my years of business. It was always a big question mark. I wanted to know, what is my tax liability actually going to be for the year as I continue to grow my business? Well, there's got to be ways to cut it down, right? I know I hear about all these loopholes and these secret strategies that seem like this ghost nobody can get a grip on. And it's always this challenge to try and figure it out. But the truth is that that's not your business, right? You're trying to run your own business. You provide a service for other people. And if it's not tax, then how are you supposed to know? How are you supposed to get a grip on that?
Absolutely. And I think they say what the most expensive two things in life are. Number two is taxes, and number one is what you don't know, right? So it sounds like the lack of knowledge, right, which leads into unclear ways to move forward. There's kind of more of a dark cloud. And I know where there is no clarity, right? It's tough to have a clear vision. Is that a fair summary or anything else to add there?
No, that's very well stated. The problem is that you don't know how to plan and how to go forward when you have so many question marks in front of you, right? And so it keeps you apprehensive. It keeps you a little bit on the defensive, and it's hard to move forward. I mean, I talk to business owners all the time that are literally worried about growing their business too fast because they're going to make a lot more money and they have no idea how to handle the tax bill that's going to come with that. And that's just sad. There's so many people in America that also, it's been a mantra for a long time. People is saying that we should just burn the whole code to the ground. It needs to be restarted, a tiered system or a flat tax or whatever people propose. We're actually out to change that perception in America. The US tax code is actually a beautiful, albeit complex structure, and it allows for so much flexibility, so many cool things that you can do as a business owner to take control of tax. And doing it the right way is an awesome thing too, because there is so much more black and white in the US tax code than most people realize. All these gray areas and red flags. It's simply not having clear understanding around the way that the tax strategies work and how to do them the correct way.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Again, maketaxesfair.com to connect with Tyler Buechler. North Dakota. I love the slight accent there, right? I guess maybe you say we have accents. So I don't know. Maybe it's always the opposite. That makes sense, right? So where there's questions, there leads to apprehension. When there's apprehension, it leads to not taking action. Fear is the number one reason we don't take action. And so you want to make sure you have some clarity. And so what's the number two secret for empowering American business owners after knowledge, Tyler?
Well, after knowledge, it comes down to what you just said. It's taking action. So that's what we bring to the table. If you think about the wealthiest in America, everyone always kind of, sees them and wants to emulate them. What do? Literally what they do is they hire the people that can understand that beast of a tax code and put those strategies to work. The billionaires of the world, they pay very little tax, and it's not because there's anything different or special about them. They're playing with the same tax code that the rest of us have to use. It's just finding somebody that has the knowledge of how that works. And that's what we bring to the table. The US tax code has over 400 different tax strategies that are available in the code. And these aren't the things that I'm talking about on filing your tax forms where you just check some boxes. I mean, actual strategy in which you put different pieces in place, different practices in your business that create the opportunity for you to pay less tax. It's all completely legal and legit, and it's just a matter of getting education around that and then putting it into action. And we're such a strong believer in that. I myself, because I'm an entrepreneur, throughout the years, this is everything that I was looking for, what I wanted. And that's why I'm so excited to be bringing this company to fruition and helping other American business owners. The world's not getting any cheaper. It's getting tougher. And so the more you can get a grip on that and save on your taxes, it's putting the power back into the American business owner's hands and keeping the money where it belongs. You want to further the economy? You want to spur growth? Keep it in the hands of the people that are building the whole thing in the first place. And that's what we're out to do.
Amen and amen. I couldn't agree with you more. We have a saying around here. It's not just about cash flow; it's about tax flow. And we have a practical example to bring to you guys right now. And Tyler, perhaps you want to share of a recent deal that we just worked on together for the deferred sales trust, right? Mm-hmm. Big sale, large tax, and maybe you can just, without disclosing any personal stuff, right? Maybe just talk about a little bit, like, what was the big challenge? What was the pain, for the potential tax bill? And then what was the ideal outcome? And how did the deferred sales trust really empower, and in this scenario, the American investor, right? Mm-hmm. To be able to get some freedom and some flexibility with their wealth?
Yeah, absolutely. To your point of what you're saying, it's what we work towards every day. Our company is geared to optimize you and to frame everything up so that you are as tax efficient as you can legally possibly be. And when you get to that point one day where you're ready to sell, it's the dream of every business owner, right? You want to be able to have that exit plan one day and know that everything you worked for was for a good reason, that you're not going to see, nearly half of it slashed by taxes. And so, yeah, we had a client that we brought to the table. They'd worked their entire lives and they were looking to sell and create their legacy. And it wasn't a massive sale. It was a little over a couple $1 million. But even on that dollar amount, just a straight sale and taking the money personally, they're looking at over $500,000 in tax. I mean, that is huge. That is a lot of living income. And we all know how things are going in the world today, right? With the advance of technology, people are living longer. We need more money in order to live longer. But people are still trying to retire at about the same time. And so that couple of $1,000,000 plus, instead of having an over $600,000 tax bill, we were able to use the tax strategy that you're speaking of, the DST, and be able to actually defer that tax and give the couple an extra more than $500,000 to invest and continue their future, to be able to create more income and wealth for themselves, and to make sure that they have enough to carry them all the way through the rest of their lives.
Yeah, and isn't that incredible, right? That you have more freedom and flexibility using the tax flow strategy of the deferred sales trust to unlock the power of the eighth wonder of the world of compounding interest.
Yeah.
And so a couple $1,000,000 sale, and then about $500,000-600,000 of tax liability that can continue to work for you. And this, people are running about this. You can connect with me and Tyler. You can go to maketaxesfair.com. You can also go to capitalgainstaxsolution.com. But these are the deferred sales trusts, is what they're called, and it gives flexibility to invest. So Tyler, talk about the flexibility of diversification and assets, because they did sell real estate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there wasn't a lot of deals that made a lot of sense for the 1031 exchange. So talk about how we were able to invest the funds and put them into more of a lending investment that's paid, around 10% cash on cash.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point, like you said, in a 1031 exchange, you're so limited in scope because it has to be very like scope that you invest in. And there's a ticking clock that really forces you to have a deal ready, and everything has to work out smoothly. Otherwise, you're in big trouble. With doing the DST, it gave them so much flexibility because they were able to sell their asset, keep all of that money, and then basically have a pool of money in the trust that is completely free for them to invest wherever they want. Stocks, crypto, even more land, a like business if they wanted to. They could get into anything possible, but it frees up so much flexibility. And the biggest thing is taking the pressure off of time, because now the world is open to them, right? There's no restrictions on when and how they have to spend it. They can actually take their time. They can vet their options and really figure out what they want to do going forward.
Absolutely love it. And by the way, I want to point out something. What Tyler was saying, it was so well said. In a 1031 exchange, you are limited in scope. You are limited in timing. You're limited in the assets that you can go into. It must be like kind real estate within 45 days identification from when you close, 180 days to close it from when you close the down leg or the property you sold. And so it's you. It's all on you. And this particular clients, they're more in the retirement, stage. And they're not looking to get new debt or new property taxes or new laws and new tenants and all of the things that are associated with owning and operating a real estate. Really, commercial real estate is a business, right? Whether it's apartments or self-storage or whatever, it's active. It takes intense focus, right? Versus the deferred sales trust, it's we. And by the way, you can still go and be an entrepreneur if you want to be. You don't have to be retired, right? You don't have to be passive. You can still, but in the deferred sales trust, we help you invest the funds. We help you diversify the funds. We help you get typically better cash flow than you would by yourself. And so you've got to really clarify what you want and understand the outcome. And when you do that, Tyler, I feels like, freedom, and it feels like opportunity and empowerment for the American business owner or investor. Yes?
Yes, absolutely. And that's, to your point of what we're talking about, this is towards the end goal, right? And so that's where our partnership with Capital Gains Tax Solutions and yourself is, has such a light at the end of the tunnel, actually a solution to this problem when you go to sell. Our company at Make Taxes Fair, our partnership with you is to get people optimized on their path all the way to that point. So as you're running your business, bringing clarity and building, being able to keep as much as you can to reinvest and build, so you're an even bigger sale when you get to that point to being ready for that. I mean, as an example, we have a client that we just brought on a couple of months ago. Awesome couple. They have a business that's doing a few million a year right now. And it was a real easy, just assessment of their current world, taking a look at their finances. And we were able to conservatively, and we say conservatively because we believe heavily in under promising and over delivering. So we always estimate low on everything on our first analysis. When we really dive in, that we can see exact numbers. But just in the first year alone, we were able to save them over $81,000 plus in taxes. That's $81,000 that would go to the IRS, but is able to stay in their bank account, whether to pay themselves, reinvest in their business, give away to charity, do with whatever they feel that is the most important place to put it, and do that year after year on the way to the sale of that business, in which then you can do the DST and keep all of that money. It's a compounding effect, and it's a really powerful thing for American business owners, because that's what capitalism is all about, right? Being able to control your own future and your own destiny. And this is a way to actually have control and handle over the tax code and be able to make it work for yourself.
Absolutely. And we're talking again with Tyler Buechler. You can go to maketaxesfair.com, maketaxesfair.com. That's spelled Buechler, but pronounced Buechler, Tyler Buechler, North Dakota. Where's where you're at, right? Where are you located, Tyler? You're originally from North Dakota, but where are you living now?
Yeah, originally I'm from North Dakota, but I live down by Nashville, Tennessee now.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, Nashville, Tennessee. So let's shift a little bit into some of the cool stuff you guys are doing, right? So one of the things you say is out of touch tax pros on your website, right? Tax professionals today lack understanding of the tax code, leading to a lack of answers. As a result, they maybe suggest making substantial business purchases for minimal write-offs, or dismiss tax strategies as red flags or gray areas, often intimidating clients from pursuing them further. Just talk about the difference between someone who's a CPA who's specialized in tax preparation and reporting, and versus tax strategist who is focused on proactive ways to, like for the deferred sales trust, to make substantial capital gains tax deferral. Just a little bit of that mindset shift, and how you guys are empowering your clients and investors to definitely have both, right? You need both, but realize that person is not the same person. You can't have 5 Steph Currys, right? You want a Steph Curry, you want a Klay Thompson, you want a Steve Kerr, right? You may even need a Draymond Green to get in there to mix it up a little bit.
You need the muscle in there to go and push people around. Absolutely. Yeah, to that point, it's our belief that that's exactly why the industry itself of tax preparation and filing is just kind of broken. There isn't a real system there. And that is the problem. The commonality that we hear when we talk to people, when we talk to prospects, we always ask them, what brought you here? And it's almost always the same thing. They know that there are tax strategies out there, but when they go to ask their current professional, they don't get clear answers. If they want to have a meeting for tax strategy, it almost always ends up being a meeting in which they ask them the same questions. Are you writing off all of your independence? Did you keep track of your mileage? Do you have big business purchases you need to make before the end of the year? That's not tax strategy. That's being reactive. Their current professional is allowing them to just do business for the entire year, and then bringing the results, the numbers that are the results of all that business they did for the whole year at the end of it. And then, as I said before, they're just checking off boxes on the sheet and filing it. That they're busy. They're incredibly busy doing that. There's more regulation all the time, making that a more complex thing. I'm not trying to knock on what they're doing. They're providing a service, but they don't have time to understand the tax code and understand these 400 plus strategies that require actual strategy, requires something in your business. So when we talk with people and we tell them, look, our services begin with us collecting a whole lot of information from you. We're going to analyze your entire world. We're going to identify out of all of those tax strategies, which are the ones that fit you and your business and are going to really move the needle in tax. And then the first thing that we're going to do when we bring you on, we are going to actually preset our meetings with you for the entire year. And these meetings are the meetings where we're going to implement this strategy. We are going to show you, hold your hand and walk you through what you need to do to put these strategies in place and do them correctly. So you are doing them by the tax code, by the letter of the law, and you are legally going to save every penny you can in U.S. taxes.
Absolutely amazing. Tyler Buechler. Sorry, Buechler. It's the accent. It's messing with me a little bit.
It's my fault, not yours, Brett.
That was so good, Tyler. I absolutely love that. I love the way you put that. You said, first collecting, right? If you're a doctor, it's hard to do an ACL surgery without an MRI, right? So collect the information, collect it all, and analyze that, right? Identify which strategies fit or potentially fit your business or your unique fact pattern is the way we say it here.
Yep.
And then preset the meetings. I like the proactive part about it. Preset the meetings where you're going to hold accountable, encourage, challenge, make sure they're staying on track to implement the strategies, right? And that really is pretty simple, right? It's the knowledge, it's the clarity of the information, it's the knowledge to move forward, like what do you need to do, and then it's the applying the knowledge. Is that a fair summary, Tyler?
Yeah, that is a fair summary. I mean, in addition to that, we're also analyzing past tax returns because the code and the law allows us to go up to 3 years in arrears. But beyond that, it's continual communication, monthly communication with our clients, pre-setting these meetings. We have an entire system around audit protection, showing people how to report and how to keep records accurate per the US code and the way that the current IRS agents are interpreting that code. It's all about clarity and knowledge. And that's really what's lacking. And that's what we bring to the table. It's the same thing, like I said, that the billionaires of the world have. We're just bringing it downscale so that it's accessible to every American business owner. Because when you have that knowledge, it's the same code. And it's just putting it to use for yourself.
Fantastic. Let's shift to the last kind of the lightning round or the quicker round, and then we'll go to the lightning round. But, the Build It to Billions podcast, really the vision is to help people build it to billions. And as part of that is using tax flow strategies with proactive pros like Tyler and his partner, Chris, to implement these things, to execute these so that you can rapidly build, compound your business and your earnings over time so that hopefully and give you an opportunity to have a lot of margin, a lot of freedom to be able to give a big amount to help the most vulnerable people, help the causes that you believe in most, right? And so it's that connection. So Tyler, what does it mean to you? If you could build your company to billions, what would it mean to you to be able to give out a ton of it or all of it or as much as you could to the most vulnerable people in this world?
Honestly, it means everything. I mean, that's why I do it. I want to take care of my own family and I want to take care of as many people as I possibly can. I know some people say it, but it's living it out. It's really what we want to do. For myself as well, as you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, it's a part of my faith and it's what I believe in very strongly. I want to make hundreds of millions of dollars, not because I need hundreds of millions of dollars for myself. I want to be able to give it away and I want to be able to help further the American economy and all of the people that really need it. And, this is it. To me, this is just a dream scenario. Finding the opportunity, meeting Chris and our partnership to be able to do this, I feel like it's a real life Robin Hood type of scenario, right? We're coming to the table, bringing all of the weapons and the tools needed to decrypt that big tax code that nobody can get a grip on. And what are we doing? We're taking money back from going to the IRS and putting it back in the hands of the people that worked their butts off for it. And along the way, we're going to make money ourselves that I can then go and give away and create the legacy that I want to and help the people that I feel are the most in need. It's a dream scenario. It's exactly what I, would paint a picture for myself if I had to sit down and just draw it up from scratch.
So beautiful, Chris. Absolutely love that. With that being said, are you ready for the lightning round?
Yeah.
All right. Know what you know now. If you go back to your 25-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget? Make sure you tell yourself to do.
Oh, man. The one golden nugget I would have told my 25-year-old self, as I think a lot of us probably do at 25, if you're not one of these people, good for you. But learning to really serve others along the way. You don't have to wait until you have the $100 million to be able to serve people. You can serve people every single day. And that's exactly how we approach every person that we work with as a client, but also just every person in my day-to-day life. Beautiful. What's my opportunity to be able to serve them and give back? And I will be taken care of when I keep that focus.
Beautiful. Question number 2, what's the number one book you've recommended or given the most in the past year?
Man, there's some really good ones. From Good to Great is a great read. I've got another one here, actually. It Takes What It Takes, with a foreword by Russell Wilson. Both are really, really good for creating mindset. And honestly, anything that really grabs you and helps you work on your mindset, because the number one powerful force that we all have is our brains, our minds. And the way that we think every single day, what we stay focused on is what will create our future and create the opportunities that we want. And so any reads that you can find that really stir that for you and help you stay focused on that, that's a valuable read.
Right on. What are you most curious about right now?
Most curious about right now? That's a good question. I feel like I've got such clarity in what we're doing and going forward. I guess probably one of the things that I'm most curious about right now is, as a business owner, I've got plans, right? I've got next 6 months, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plans. My curiosity is, as is anyone, I guess, how closely are things going to shape up to the way that I think that they will? How accurate am I on my predictions? Because I'm very focused on what we're doing going forward. And so my curiosity is, can we accomplish all the goals? Can we blow them out of the water like we really hope that we can?
Phenomenal. Chris, we're out of time. I'm sorry, Tyler, we're out of time. But Chris is his partner. MakeHisTaxesFair.com is the place you can find. And it's Tyler Buechler. So Tyler, for our last question, right after all your success, and by the way, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for sharing your heart. Thank you for sharing your expertise. Thank you for helping us to have the secrets of understanding how to empower American business owners and investors, entrepreneurs, with being proactive with everything we're doing right in life, but especially with taxes, because it's the number 2 most expensive thing you're ever going to pay for. Number 1 is the knowledge of things you don't know. So Tyler and his partner Chris, they are passionate about this, and I thank you for sharing that today. For our listeners who want to get in touch with you, would you mind one last time? What's the best place for them to find you?
Absolutely. The best place to find us is to simply go to our website, maketaxesfair.com. You can get a hold of us there, send me an email directly at tyler@maketaxesfair.com. That is the easiest and best way to get a hold of us. And again, it's like I said, serve you. You got questions, anything you want to know, email, ask. Let's get on a call, get on a video call. I want to learn about you. I want to find out what's going on in your world. What are your biggest needs? And we're here to serve and to make that happen.
Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much, Tyler, for listening to another episode, for being on the episode. And thank you for our listeners listening to the episode of the Build It to Billions podcast. We're also streaming on Capital Gains Tax Solutions and Expert CR Secrets podcast as well, and YouTube channels for everyone out there. We want to thank you for listening today. We want to encourage you to take action, to be proactive, to work with professionals who are going to help you get the freedom, flexibility for your wealth, so that you can create it perhaps to billions. And so perhaps you can give it all away, right, to make a big difference and impact in this world. We so appreciate everyone out there who are listening. Take action now. And